We're gonna play along with Luise Heinzl's Jazzin' Up Your Scraps video. So in the last video, we just made a whole bunch of homemade, never before have you ever had so many scraps. And now we're going to play along with one of the reindeer games. I watched your video and I made a list and I added in my own notes how I would do things just a little different, you know, because this is my take at the lake and that's what we do around here. I will show you what I'm going to use. I always keep a sprayer bottle full of really strong instant coffee with a few drops of rubbing alcohol in it so it doesn't get nasty. I'm going to do vintage, and I would like to also do bright. So this batch is vintage. We'll do bright another time. So I have some vintage colors here. This is that acrylic I got from the Dollar Tree the other day. I haven't used it yet. I just opened it just now, and what a pain in the arse to open. It's got a little pull tab that won't pull off. I had to get my sharp tweezers out and cut it off, and oh, what a mess. So it better work good is all I got to say. This is so old. Arnie's. I haven't been to Houghton Lake in 30 years. But it's a nice dark brown. I'm going to back up just a little bit because this is a little close. Butter brown. And one of the new ones I just got the other day from Walmart. It's rose gold. Which I hope it looks like copper. Cross your fingers. Some white. Just straight up plain old white. Some gesso for good measure. Two oxides that I know will bleed when they get liquid on them. So we plan on bleeding and running in these two colors. But we also want some things that don't bleed and run. So using the archival for that. Pulled out some of my favorite stamps. This I got at a St. Vinny's Hall a long time ago. Some postage. I love this one. It's just a swirl of leaves. A new one I've not used before, just some weeds. That'll be fun. More favorites, music and script. And just some miscellaneous just to mix it up a little bit. I also have a few of these little palettes. These have come in so handy. I think they come in 6 to a pack at Dollar Tree. They're about paper thin, but oh, they have come in so handy. So I'm going to use these and some bowls just to mix up some more then, because I know this doesn't go very far, but I might use it. Just some extra spattering. I have some of that brown butter mixed with the coffee, butter brown mixed with coffee. I have a confession to make. I started this video and I ran through all the supplies and my list and the whole 9 yards. I wasn't recording, so we're starting over. I have this way cool handy. It's a half a copy box. Normally you get, I think it's 12 reams of paper in a box, and this only holds 6. It's a nice little size, and it comes with a lid. I was going to use the lid because the camera, but it's nice and deep enough, so I think it'll be fine. As you can see here, I started because I was well on my way to doing this when I looked up and my camera was off. Oh, you gotta love technology ignorance. I can't blame the camera. I didn't turn it on. What a dumbass. I made a list, as I said, and my first thing that I would change is she put all of her scraps in all at once. And even though you can't tell, I already have 3 layers in. I put a layer that just covered the bottom, and I spattered it with coffee. Just like real just spattered it. And then I put another layer in and I spattered that. And I put another layer in and spattered that. And then mixed it around. Just in time to notice the GD camera wasn't on. So these I'm going to save because I want to do some bright ones. I'm going to have to make some more, but as you saw in the last video, making scraps, super fast, super simple, easy peasy. So what I've done is sprayed some of that coffee. It's just really strong coffee, mixing it up so it's spatterable. I think that's a word, spatterable. Ooh, look at nice and dark, just what I wanted. I turn my box every now and again so my spatters are going in different directions, because you don't want all your spatters to go in one direction, and as you do it, move some stuff around and spatter some more. Oh, what the heck. I'm gonna add the rest of this and just give her, I've got plenty of scraps to play with. I know I'm gonna love this, so I might as well have a lot of it ready to go. So that I don't think it's gonna take much. Of course, I never know. I'll post it. Oh, I need that. It's not an old Post-it. Turning my box, spattering some more. Oh, there's just spilling it. Why not? Mix it around. It's best to use the hard end to mix it around rather than the brush end. I don't know. I think I want more of that dark in here. Might as well. All I'm doing is spraying some coffee directly in there, because this bottle is about empty after all these years. Ooh, there you go. Now we got some stuff going on. I wouldn't be afraid to get your hands in there and flip them around. Ooh, that was a good spatter. Love good spatter. Who doesn't love a good spatter session? You know, try and drive the boss, and sometimes it's just better to just let it happen. Try not to drive the bus. Flip them around some more. And as she points out in her video, they're going to stick together because now they're getting wet. I'm glad I used this deeper box in my white-walled office. Probably a really good idea. Another thing that she used is dirty water, because she had been painting earlier. So she had just some dirty water. So usually I use quite a bit more than that to clean my brushes, but because I want that water to get good and dirty good and fast, I'm not going to put too much in. So I'm going to clean my brush. The watercolor teacher in me won't let me not say, don't leave your brushes in the water. Never leave your brushes in the water. I'm going to switch brushes because every brush makes a different type of spatter. And we want a different type of spatter. So I'm going to try the rose gold and just see what it's going to do. I'm going to put it right in the dirty brown dish. And I'm going to use coffee for that too, because it's a wee bit bright for me. I'm going to wet this brush. See what this brush is going to do. Mix that all up in there. Kind of curdles. Looks like salmon. Oh, but it's going to dry beautifully, right? It's going to be fantastic. It's nice and pearly. I can see that already on some of the scraps. That's pretty cool. I'm going to give her a flip. It's a little thick. Instead of spattering, I'm just doing some droppage. Sticking to the walls. That's alright. There's stuff on the walls. Go ahead and stick. I love her at the end of her video. She said something like, you know, sometimes I'm just in love with my own ideas. And she's right. This is fantastic. This is, the end result is so much fun. And it's something new and fresh. And it's one of those things like, well, why didn't we think of this before? Because we didn't. Because we did not. So, now. So this brush, while I'm stirring it around with the brush, like I said not to just a minute ago, is leaving some brush strokes and some brush marks, and who cares? That's alright. Clean that brush out, get some dirty water going on. Now what? What's next on the list? Okay, so now that they're spattered good and proper, I may just give a few more drops of that strong coffee. Because we've got a lot more layers to put on, so you don't have to do everything right this second in this one step. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find some craft paper, lay it down, spread this out so it can dry. Be right back. Okay. It's not quite dry, and I don't think it needs to be. I don't think she mentioned anything like that. Although, like, this piece of tissue is pretty wet, and it's got a lot of that pearlescent rose gold paint, and I don't think that'd be any too good for my stamps, so I want to try to avoid that particular piece if I can. The rest of this is dried pretty well. So the next step on my list, because I followed the video, is stamping. We're going to do the permanent stuff first. This is the biggest stamp I have, and I figured that would cover a lot of ground fast, so we'll see. And she just went to stamping. And I love the scrolly bits on here. Because what you're getting is pieces and parts of it, which is always pretty cool. Alrighty. Let's do, this is some kind of stock number or something. It's one of my favorites. Well, you could just do the background too, that'd be fun. Sure, why not? Okay. Now, indecision is an ugly, ugly thing. Actually, I'm not ready for my oxides yet. The stuff that I know is gonna bleed, I'll do that in a minute. I want to do some of these postage markers, or not quite sure. They're not postage, they're cancellation? Oh. don't know, is it cheating to move them around? No, there's no cheating in the craft room. There are no rules. You do what you want when you want. That's the beauty of being in the craft room. Trying to decide, do I do all my layer, like everything on this side, and then stir it up and do it again? Probably. Alright, so we're going to take the oxides, which we know will bleed, because there's more liquid layers to come for this. So know that they're going to bleed, and be okay with that. This is the vintage photo, my favorite stamp. That's got to go. Try that again. I'm going to move them around just a little bit. I don't want to flip them over. I just want to rearrange them. Always good to move your stamps around too. Switch directions. Especially for something like this, when the whole point is to have mayhem. Okay, favorite stamp. We're going to do different color. Favorite stamp, different color. Dusty Concord. Oopsie. Ooh, that's pretty with that. I'm going to call it copper because I really don't like rose gold at all. Ugh. So I'm going to call it copper. The purple looks nice with the copper. Okay. Now I'm going to do my best to flip them around and do the other side with my stamps and my stuff. Because you see, when you flip it, you get a lot of blank stuff. And the stuff that's super wet, I'm going to try to pull it apart before it sticks and becomes one, and who needs that? Because you want, if you're working so hard, haha, this doesn't work. You're doing all this stuff to have way cool stuff to play with. You don't want it all gobbed up in a one big heap. So keep moving it around so that they can free each other from each other. This one piece of tissue is still really wet. So I think I'm just going to start where I started the last time with my big one and the permanent ink, and just go to town again. I love stamping napkins. I'm not sure stamping wet napkins is a good idea, but stamping napkins, big fun. All right, enough with that one. And I like this one so much, I'm going to do just a few of these so that they don't all bleed all over the place. All the stamping we're doing, I'm amazed how many blank spots we have. Look at all the blank spots. Despite our best mess making efforts. This is going to be pretty cool after. Got our numbers. Never used this stamp. Let's see how this goes. Ink it up good. I'm just gonna try it on the background and see what it looks like. Oh, it's beautiful. So detailed. These silicone stamps are so detailed. I'm going to do that. And we're going to do that. Where's my list? I'm going to let them dry for just a little bit. That's not on my list, but they're just feeling kind of soggy, and I want to let them dry a little bit. Just a little bit. Little mini masterpieces, each and every one. Actually, that's not true. Some, I threw away about 3 or 4, because they seemed to be soaked. Like every layer I put on, they got some of. And so I did throw a few pieces away. I've picked out some of my very favorites to show you. I did skip some pieces, because you can watch Luise's video and see how she did it and do your own take on it. I didn't have to walk you through all my steps. I just after I let them dry a little bit, I spattered them with watered down white acrylic, turned them, spattered them some more, spattered some dirty water that I made because I didn't have any, just dirty brush water. Cleaned my brush, added a little black, added a little brown, called it dirty water. Spattered it with water, spun them around, spattered it with water. I did then let them dry just a little bit. I put my Distress Oxide on a block, watered that down, and spattered that on. Both the purple and the brown, the Dusty Concord and the Vintage Photo. Let them dry just a little bit and then spattered white. I did spatter a little bit of black too, but it was too much. So I didn't do very much of that. But I wanted to show you some of my little mini masterpieces. Why I think this is so brilliant is because it puts things together the way we would never. Randomly doing it like this. We come up with things we could never imagine or plan or think of or even do, even if we could imagine it and plan it. And like this particular one, everything the way that it bled, that copper, I'm calling it, rose gold, just enough shimmer. It's beautiful. Very nice. I'm glad I used some of the Stays On Black, so not everything was a bleeding, blurry mess, but where the oxides did bleed was beautiful. Look how much yellow is in that purple. That's pretty crazy. Love that new stamp that I just pulled out. I don't know if I like it so much because it's new and fresh to me or if it's just so cute. I know I like it because it's so detailed. This is beautiful. This one right here. You know, you couldn't replicate that. Just simple, but very pretty. The deli paper worked out really well. That metallic coppery rose gold worked out beautifully. I'll show you some of the bigger pieces. Again, not something that you could necessarily do on purpose. And these bigger ones, of course, can be torn down into smaller ones or used for backgrounds for things. Just fun. I love how the Dusty Concord bleeds. I really like this one. It's got a ghost print of the numbers. More of the deli paper that took really well, especially that iridescent paint. Some of them are quite detailed. Lots of, some of them got hit with everything, which is kind of fun. Quite a few strips, and I think Luise pointed this out on her video as well, how they fold. You can unfold them, and they're their own little masterpiece, or keep them folded and somehow work that fold into your design. So pretty. Tim Holtz would be proud of this. Look how beautiful that is. A bit bigger one. And again, it can stay folded or open it up and use it as a border or trim. A little bit of black spatter. I wish I had ink. I'm going to have to invest in a good bottle of black India ink, because that spatters beautifully and is permanent, of course. So that would be pretty. The vintage photo here bled beautifully. Lots of yellow in that as well. A few more. This is one of the only times I'm going to say I like a doily. I had one that I had used on jelly plate printing, and I tore it up. It's kind of cute, kind of different. This was a gray piece of book page with music on it. That was kind of fun. I did add some of my own, in addition to the homemade scraps. I had a piece of sheet music. I tore that up. And a couple other pieces of scrapbook paper, pink marbled and a blue marbled, just some strips of scrapbook paper, just to have more and different things in there. Another nice long strip. These two stole the show, and it's like I said, little masterpieces. These are the things we live for. This one is just a piece of, geez, I don't even know what it is. It's not deli paper. I don't know what it is. It's got a funky feel to it, but boy, did it take that color nice. And that shimmer is beautifully visible on it. I don't know what it is, but I like how dark it got. And this is something that I printed off on my printer. It was a handout that I had tore up for collage, or for scrap. And it was printed, and I just have a plain old printer, so nothing is permanent, nothing is set. And so anything that I print bleeds when it gets wet. Except for the black dots. Those didn't bleed. That's pretty cool. I don't know why they didn't bleed. But it's so colorful and pretty and simple, and that's my favorite piece of all of it. What I did do is I put them back in the box. I kind of separated them all because they kind of got pretty wet. Separated them so they wouldn't stick together. Put them back in that box, and I have them sitting by the heater so that they're getting airflow, warm airflow, and they'll help it dry. So thanks, Luise. That was really, really fun. So much fun to play along. Thank you for sharing that grand and wonderful idea of jazzing up our scraps, because we can always use help with that. So I encourage you, take your scraps, try this. It couldn't be easier. It is a little time consuming, but it's fun. It really was a fun project. So please hop over there, watch her video, get out your scraps, and make them sing. So much fun. Thank you very much for stopping by and hanging out with me for this. Let me know how you do. Mate the lake. Out for now.